Close your eyes, point north, don't calculate. Don't think about the sun. Don't remember which way you walked in, just point. You pointed somewhere. You were probably wrong, not by a little. Most people in the industrialized world are wrong by 90 degrees, by 180 degrees. Not inaccuracy, absence. In 2019, Joseph Kirschvink at Caltech placed subjects in a Faraday cage, a shielded chamber blocking all electromagnetic interference. He exposed them to controlled rotations of the magnetic field while monitoring brain activity. Some subjects showed a measurable, repeatable drop in alpha brainwave activity. The brain was detecting the magnetic field, below conscious awareness. That phrase is the key, not absent, suppressed. The brain receives the signal, and somewhere between reception and awareness it is filtered out. Treat it as noise. The sense isn't broken. It's been switched off, and the hardware is still in your body right now. In 1992, Kirschvink discovered magnetite crystals in the human brain. Magnetite is a naturally magnetic iron mineral, the same mineral found in the beaks of homing pigeons, in the skulls of migratory fish, in the abdomen of honeybees. In every species where magnetoreception has been conclusively demonstrated, magnetite has been found in the tissue. He found it in ours, not in trace amounts, in concentrations significant enough to interact with external magnetic fields, located in the brainstem and the cerebellum, the oldest, most evolutionarily ancient regions of the human brain, the regions that predate language, predate abstract thought, predate everything that makes us modern. Then came the protein. In 2011, Stephen Reppert at the University of Massachusetts was studying how monarch butterflies navigate their annual migration, 3,000 miles, insects that weigh less than a gram. The navigation system relies on a protein called cryptochrome, found in the butterfly's eyes. It changes its chemical behavior at the quantum level in response to magnetic fields. It doesn't just detect them, it makes them visible. Light and dark patches across the visual field that shift as the organism changes orientation. The butterfly literally sees the magnetic field. Reppert took fruit flies genetically modified to lack cryptochrome. They lost their magnetic sense. Then he inserted the human version of the protein, human cryptochrome extracted from the human retina, into the flies. The flies regained their magnetic sense. The human protein worked. The protein in your eyes right now carries the molecular capability for magnetoreception. It functions when tested. It detects magnetic fields. It is by every measure of biological function a magnetoreceptor. And it is in your eyes, and you cannot feel it. The flies got it back. You never did. This is not a dormant evolutionary remnant. This is an active system that is being filtered. Kirschvink's 2019 study proved it. The brain responds to magnetic field changes. The response is real. The processing happens. It just never reaches the part of you that notices. Someone decided you don't need to know which way you're facing, or something did. Now consider the people who still have it. The Aboriginal Australians navigated an entire continent for at least 65,000 years without a written map. Their navigation system, the songlines, encoded every geographic feature in sequences of sung verses guiding travelers across hundreds of kilometers, with accuracy that astonished the first Europeans who witnessed it. Anthropologists accompanying Aboriginal navigators through featureless desert reported that their guides could identify their precise location and heading at any moment, in conditions where the European observer was completely disoriented. 65,000 years. No GPS signal, no wrong turn. The Polynesian wayfinders crossed the largest ocean on Earth in open canoes, navigating by stars, wave patterns, the behavior of birds, and a sense of direction so refined they could hold a course for weeks across thousands of miles of open water. Nainoa Thompson, the Hawaiian navigator who revived traditional wayfinding in the 1970s, describes it as requiring the navigator to feel the canoe's relationship to swells, stars, and wind with the entire body, not to calculate it, to feel it. The Gugu Yimithirr people of northern Queensland Don't use relative spatial language. No left, no right, no in front, no behind. Only absolute cardinal directions, at all times, in every conversation. Cognitive scientists report that this awareness operates automatically, below deliberate thought. They always know which way they're facing. The hardware is identical in every human brain. The magnetite is in the brain stem of an Aboriginal elder, and in yours. The cryptochrome is in a Polynesian navigator's retina, and in yours. The biological machinery is the same. The difference is not genetic. The difference is what happened to the training. Before roughly 1850, the majority of human beings lived in direct relationship with the natural landscape. They navigated by sun, by stars, by wind, by terrain. Every journey required spatial awareness. The sense of direction was trained and reinforced from childhood by the demands of survival. You had to know where you were. The landscape didn't tell you with signs. The world didn't come with a grid laid on top of it. Your body had to know. Then in the span of a single century, the navigational environment of the human species was completely restructured. Named streets replaced paths. Numbered addresses replaced landmarks. Printed maps replaced spatial memory. Railways replaced walking. Grid cities replaced landscapes. The body's relationship to direction, to the magnetic field, to the feeling of north, was rendered unnecessary. Not punished, not prohibited, unnecessary. The sense was no longer reinforced because the environment no longer required it. Children grew up in grid-patterned cities where every navigation problem was solved by a sign, a number, or a question asked to a stranger. The training stopped. The brain, ruthlessly efficient about allocating resources to capacities that are actually used, quietly turned down the volume. Within a few generations, the sense went silent. Not extinct, silent. Kirschvink's experiments prove the distinction. The alpha wave response is still there in subjects who have never navigated without a map. The brain still detects the field. The hardware was never removed. The software was never deleted. The gate was closed, not locked, not destroyed. Closed by disuse. By a world that gave you a grid and a screen, and told your nervous system that it didn't need to feel the planet anymore. Ask the question nobody asks. What did it feel like to always know where you were? Not by calculation, not by reference to a map or a street sign or a blue dot on a screen. By sensation, by the same kind of knowing with which you know that you're hungry, or that the room is cold, or that someone is standing behind you. An awareness so fundamental, so constant, so deeply embedded in the body's processing of the world, that it operated below the level of thought. You didn't think about north. You felt north, the way a bird feels north, the way a turtle hatching on a beach at midnight feels the direction of the ocean it has never seen. What does a human life feel like when one of its senses is active instead of silent? What does the world feel like when your body's relationship to the planet's magnetic field is a continuous unconscious stream of information telling you at every moment where you are and which way you're facing? And what does the world feel like when that stream is filtered out? When the body is placed inside a grid of named streets and numbered buildings and glowing screens, and the ancient orientation system, the one that navigated your species across continents and oceans for 100,000 years, is allowed to atrophy because nobody needs it anymore. Because the phone knows where you are. Because the GPS has a signal. Because the machine has replaced the body. Again, the sense is still there. The magnetite is in your brain stem right now, concentrated in the region built before your species could speak. The cryptochrome is in your retina right now, tested, confirmed, functioning in another organism. The brain is responding to the magnetic field right now, below the level of thought, processing information it was built to process. The gate was open once. Aboriginal navigators prove it. Polynesian wayfinders prove it. Kugu-Yamathir speakers prove it. Every time they say the word north in a sentence about what happened at breakfast. The gate can be opened again. Your body knows which way you're facing. It has always known. You just stopped listening. And now you can't remember that there was ever anything to hear.